Worxwide works for you.
My name is Mohit. I'm the founder and CEO at Worxwide Consulting. We hear a lot about AI replacing humans, but seems like most businesses get positive impact when AI is empowering employees or humans rather than replacing. So today we are going to discuss a very engaging topic upon how AI is empowering humans to boost customer experience. So I have today my guest Chuck McMahon, who is a pioneer in B2B customer experience, and he will be walking us through and sharing his examples and his experience on how he has been doing, how he has been merging AI with customer experience. Welcome, Chuck.
Thank you, Mohit. Great to be here. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
All right, thanks. So, Chuck, let's get started, right? So, we all are hearing a lot about AI and customer experience. So, in your opinion, right, how have you merged AI into customer experience?
Yeah, no, great, Mohit. Yeah, I kind of had an aha moment last year. Left a job I'd been working for 5 years, and we had some great results. 400% increase in expansion ARR over those years. Reduction of cost by 25% by increasing, our efficiency. But for some reason I came away frustrated instead of feeling like accomplished. And I was frustrated because after, 20 odd years of doing this, I've kind of refined things a bit and started to see like there's a limit to what we could do with current processes and the way, the extent of our capabilities as humans working with those systems. Compared to what I saw as the potential, if we could somehow find a way to capture and understand the complete voice of the customer.
Right.
So I had an aha moment at that point. I used a meeting transcription service for the first time.
Yeah.
And was just amazed that it took all the notes because I'm really bad at taking notes. So I was excited about that. And then I saw this AI tab. So curious, I clicked on that and it said, kind of, what would you like to know? And it wasn't a sales call, but it was along those lines. So I asked, the two questions you want to know is what was this person concerned about? And it gave very insightful bullet points about what this person was concerned about that kind of guided me on what I need to focus on. And then I asked the second question is what are they excited about? And again, very on point returns on that. And so one, I was already excited by this capability of kind of having this friend working with me, if you will. And then the second thought that hit me was, could this AI agent do this with multiple meeting transcripts over time? And of course, the answer is yes. And that's when I started to see that this could be used to empower CX.
Perfect. So Chuck, you have founded this firm Amplify CX, right? So you're the founder of Amplify CX, and throughout your 20 years of experience, you have been working with large enterprises in the roles of director of customer success, customer operations, and so on. So what are you doing differently, and how you are seeing it differently in terms of the strategy when at your own firm Amplify CX? You have built new models upon AI CX symbiotic models. Can you throw some light upon AI CX symbiotic models and how you are doing it differently? How do you perceive it differently in strategy?
Sure. Yeah. Initially, again, excited by the technology, what it could do. My original idea was I'm going to learn everything I can about AI and the capabilities are out there and the technologies, so that the next time I go to a company to build another team, I'm going to be able to integrate those things. But what I found is that's not largely what was happening. What was out there is people were kind of going through the traditional process of buying technology to improve things. And I wanted to do something different. I saw the potential of AI as empowering your employees, not replacing some of the functionality, because that's where I think it has an exponential impact. So that's why I developed the AI CX, which is AI and customer experience symbiotic model, meaning they're empowering each other. As an example, Coca-Cola went through a process of using AI to replace some of the HR functionality that improved the efficiency and cost of that process. And they did. They showed they were able to get those things done faster. They were able to save costs. But of course, that kind of plateaued because once you get to a new system, it doesn't continue to increase in benefit. Whereas about the same time, IBM went through a similar focus, but instead of trying to replace some of the employee functionality, they used AI to augment their HR team members to empower them to do things more fastly, more efficiently, which came up with similar results as far as getting things done faster and more efficiently, but also showed that they could do it more effectively because now these decisions were guided by humans. And it also helped build the humans themselves, made them better employees, made them more promotable internally. So those are values that continue to increase over time. And that's what I really wanted to focus on.
No, absolutely, Chuck. You're absolutely right. I mean, since we also do sales and CX consulting, so we have been also realizing same aspects like, AI-led customer experience. A lot of customers are focusing on efficiency and personalization now. The demand is for efficiency and personalization, and that too at scale. The AI role, I mean, just to echo your thoughts, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Chuck. So, clients have been demanding AI because of scale. They want personalization at scale, right? And certainly it improves productivity undoubtedly, right? So when we say is AI replacing humans or is AI empowering humans? To just give you an example, right? So in sales transformation programs, which we generally try to do, uh, earlier, I mean, currently also like a lot of companies do email outreach, and they do personalization in email. They find annual reports of the companies, of the buyer mindset, to understand the buyer mindset. They go through the company news, they go through the quarterly revenue report, they go through their trigger points, and then somebody has to write an email which is actually personalized for a prospect, which used to take a lot of time, right? So now, things are changing fast. Like, now, like, tools have come up which can actually hyper personalize at scale. You don't
Yeah.
need to go through annual reports manually, right? So think of it, AI SDRs. Like, we are also building a sales works platform, which is an AI SDR. So, that is a good example of how AI is empowering, SDRs or human, that, AI is helping in doing all that manual research and, summarizing it for you, so that you can focus upon building relationships rather than doing grunt work, rather than just researching, right? So I think that is another example from a perspective of hyper personalization at scale, and AI comes into the picture. And you talked about symbiotic model, AI merging CX. I think these examples come into the picture. So I talked about sales, and there are so many use cases across services, service operations, and marketing, and so many other use cases, right?
Exactly.
So that's my point of view in terms of personalization, that AI is really empowering humans, right? If we just move on, Chuck, like, you build this AI symbiotic model, right? But what are the metrics for your AI symbiotic model which differ from other areas in the market, and what is the strategy?
Yeah, I think part of it is that we actually don't go in with a templatized approach.
Okay.
Matter of fact, the first stage of our engagement is just to sit down with the leadership and ask them, what is it you want us to help with? Right? Because it could be anything from, efficiency, cost reduction. They're struggling with retention rates. They're not getting the expansion ARR. They're not getting enough product adaptation by their customers. So it can be any number of things. And then once we understand where they want to improve, that'll then inform the KPIs. And
Right.
once we understand that, then we engage, we go through, a very deep analysis of their processes, their current results, their historic results. And then we will come out with the recommendations and roadmap, and we'll be able to project what the impact will be on the identified KPIs.
Awesome. So we talked about different functions, right? And you talked about your AI symbiotic model, right? Since you have been into large enterprises from a customer operations and customer service standpoint, do you see any typical challenges which were very traditional and legacy in terms of service operations, which probably can be improved in CX through AI?
Yeah, definitely. That's what got me most excited is having been a CSM myself effectively for a
Yeah.
number of years. And even at times in my career in consulting, kind of sat in the seat as a CSM sometime to really understand what was happening. I was able to quickly identify what it could bring and how it could help. For example, with CSMs, the one thought that came immediately is the amount of time a CSM spends preparing for a meeting with an important customer. Yeah. Right. If a CSM is going to do a good job of meeting with a customer, what do they need to do? They need to decide what to put on that agenda. So what informs that? Well, they have to pull KPI reports to see how the customer is doing in different areas. And depending on what they read, they'll probably need to do some investigation to find out why are they doing better in these areas or why are they doing worse. They're going to have to pull utilization reports to find out which features that they're really taking advantage of in our platform. Are they using the features that can drive their chosen KPIs, or is there something more they can be doing? They need to look at the help desk tickets to see what's been happening there. They need to search through their emails to find out any communication there. So they need to go through all these sources of information, right? What did we talk about in the last meeting? And if you're doing a good job, which frankly isn't done that often because you just don't have the time, it could take 1.5, 2 hours just to prepare for one meeting. And let's don't get started on a business review and how much time that takes. So when I look at what AI could do there, if AI can, and it can, when AI, for example, you've got meeting transcriptions. So you've got transcriptions from every meeting you've ever had with that customer, right? You've got AI that can tag into a Slack channel where product is making announcements of what they're going to be releasing next. It ties into your support system. It ties into your CRM. It ties into your reporting. So absolutely. Not only can AI look at all the same things far more quickly, it can look far more deeply. You can identify, hey, you know what? 6 months ago, this customer said they really need a certain functionality to help drive their business. And it just wasn't on our roadmap at the time. However, in the Slack channel, product has just announced they're going to release that. So make sure you bring it up. Well, it might not even be the same CSM as was there 6 months ago, and even if it was, they may not remember that. So again, not that AI is going to conduct the meeting or AI is going to produce the meeting, but it can propose an agenda considering far more factors and bringing together far more intelligence and provide that to the CSM. Who they can spend maybe a half hour going through and refining or bringing up something that they, individually thought they want to bring in. So anytime you can combine an increase in efficiency with an increase in effectiveness, that's a killer combination. Improved results, reduced costs. So that's where I think the focus is for us. But I know you work a lot in those same areas as well. What are you seeing? What are you looking at as far as how to benefit maybe some of the individual functions?
No, so absolutely what you mentioned is bang on. I mean, we also in the consulting are actually trying to implement similar use cases. For example, your transcript example was bang on. For example, in our one of the platform for the customer, we are doing sentimental analysis on the top of transcripts. So you are already collecting a lot of data via these calls and through transcripts, right? So one part is already solved by AI, where humans used to take notes for the meetings and used to digest and create minutes of meetings. Now gone are the days when minutes of meeting was kind of terminology being used. Now transcripts has taken over MOMs, right? So that is a good example of AI empowering humans, because now people are able to focus upon relationship building. People are able to focus upon building strategy upon the insights, right? So like in our consulting also, right? So like earlier I was talking about from a sales perspective. For example, if I talk about from a service operation standpoint, right? So for some of our manufacturing clients, customer service and customer operation is a big challenge. For example, you talked about, right, CSMs, you talked about reducing turnaround time, right? So reducing turnaround time and bottom line improvement, right? But particularly reducing turnaround time in customer service, right? So AI agents, like customer service agents have come up, right? So to for example, earlier there used to be chatbots, which generally kind of fail after some time, and they used to say that hey, I didn't understand what you're saying, right? So now AI agents, since these are LLM based and more trained, they can actually solve a lot of queries compared to chatbots. Like in one of the customer, like we have been building a voice AI agent for a manufacturing client for B2B for taking bulk orders and replacements at in totality, I mean, the agent has been able to solve all the customer queries, from orders, from taking orders to replacements to negotiation of the pricing. It is able to kind of have a voice conversation and solve all the queries end to end. It's a seamless customer experience. But having said that, we are at a stage, where we cannot just rely upon AI. So, like, for example, a company may have different policies where AI has to be constantly trained and it may take time. So, there is a concept of handover, right? Where AI agent has to hand over the conversation to the human
Yeah.
agent, right? So I think that is another example that, again, efficiency is being significantly improved through these voice AI agents to solve customer queries in all these industries. But again, at the right time, for the better customer experience, so that the customer doesn't get frustrated, if the conversation is going in a different direction. There is a handover required, and AI is smart enough to kind of decide when to hand over to the human agent, right?
Yeah.
So in totality, I mean, there are a lot of use cases coming up in the market, across sales, across marketing, across service operations, which we are seeing. And a lot of clients are actually, are in exploratory phase in the AI.
Right.
I think, the whole world, and including us, like, we are all in exploratory phase, what AI can do, what is going to be the ROI, and so on. So, we are also helping clients in identifying the AI use cases and building the roadmap, because I think what is more important is, identifying the right use case to have the right ROI. So I think that is what we have been doing in terms of sales, marketing, and service operations from the customer standpoint, where how can we elevate customer experience across different touch points is
Yeah.
something we are focusing upon, right? So perfect. So if we just move on, Chuck, like, in in your opinion, like, how do you see what could be the challenges for the businesses to integrate AI within the existing systems, to boost CX, right? So what different channels they can leverage, what challenges they are going to face. So what will be your recommendation for the B2B businesses in terms of AI integrations?
Yeah, no, great question. And, I want to touch on something, you mentioned, AI empowered chatbots now, and agents. And to be clear, I'm not opposed to those. I'm just saying don't stop there, right? Use your AI chat agents to defray some of the ticketing, and let your support engineers focus on key issues. Use AI to augment and make that tier one capable of answering tier two questions, because AI can help it bring the information in. The challenges are, especially with AI being so new to the industry, trying to go through a process of understanding where it can help, how it can help, what questions we should be asking, what application should we using, because that's part of what we do as well. Once we understand what they're trying to impact, we'll actually identify, interview, test out many applications to find out which ones actually are most beneficial. So it's creating the strategy and the roadmap right now to know what's to be done, that I think a lot of companies are struggling with without hiring, internal leadership specifically to work with that, which can be pretty costly.
No, absolutely, Jeff. Perfect. So, I would like to ask a very important question here, when in terms of AI versus CX, or AI integrated into CX. I'm very curious about emotional connect. So, AI is certainly undoubtedly improving efficiency, undoubtedly is able to take over a lot of tasks, right? But, since we are talking about augmenting humans, I think, why? Because, humans can build better relationships because of better emotions, and can better connect because of empathy, right? So in your view, right, where is the empathy in AI? How is it going to come in near future? Where is the emotional connect? Do you see that is going to come soon?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think you probably see this as well, working with it. Like, I already find a lot of empathy there. Just working with Chat GPT, and working with
Mhm.
Claude.
Yeah.
I find them a bit empathetic, like eerily so almost. when I'm working. I feel like they're a coworker. We're exchanging ideas, or we're going back and forth, and occasionally we'll go back and forth, and then I'll identify and say, I think I want to do this, and like you actually get that feedback. Oh, that's a great idea. It's algorithmic. I get it, right? But I think most importantly, when you're using it efficiently internally, and especially when the employees can clearly see that the AI is there to help empower them, right? They don't see it just as technology. They see it as almost like an assistant. And truthfully, the same thing we start seeing when we look at AI informed chat agents, right? They can already put a significant amount of empathy, human sounding empathy. There was a company that shared that they put in an AI agent and gave it a name, and they didn't refer to it as an AI agent. They didn't, and their customers just absolutely loved engaging with it. And then someone suggested that they add AI to the name. They added AI to the name, and now all of a sudden people were complaining, right? Because of the perception they don't want to deal with AI, but they didn't know until they were told. So I think it's good. I think it's, as with everything with AI, it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
So today we are talking face to face, right? There is an emotional connect. What if tomorrow you leave your AI agent to talk to me, and I leave an AI agent to talk to you on behalf of each of us? How would you feel? Is it gonna help you? Is it gonna augment you?
You know what? It depends. Like let's just say that, and I appreciate your advice, your experience. We've talked several times when I just wanted to know, what you would recommend. So, but you have limited availability, right? So what if I need to talk to you and you're not available? Frankly, it'd be great if I could if I could engage with an AIU that had your knowledge, your understanding, your personality, your wit, and could help provide me insight. Would it ever be as good as engaging with you personally? Of course not. But I don't think that's the intent.
Yeah, perfect. I think there are different perspectives, from different people at the moment, but good to get your experience and insights on this topic. So we're running out of time. We will like to wrap it up, this conversation, Chuck. Like, I would ask you to before we wrap up. I mean, if our audience has to find what Amplify CX is doing and what AI symbiotic model is, how can we take a deep dive into that so that we can take advantage of your AI symbiotic model, because a lot of buzz around AI plus CX, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can check out our website. It's amplifycx.ai, and Amplify doesn't have a Y in it. It has two I's. So amplifycx.ai. Also love to have people join us. We've built out our LinkedIn page now, and we'll be adding content there over time. And also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to connect. Always happy to talk with people. So just send me connection request, Chuck McMahon, on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chuck. That's all for today. And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights and experience. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Mohit.
Worxwide works for you.